What's up, guys? Adam back again with the RV Returns, this time with the 5th episode in our Blitz Tech series. This time we're going to take Sean's Omnislash deck and try to see if we can improve it. So, as the title states, it's a Final Fantasy 7 themed Fire Earth deck. So let's go ahead and get right into it and see if we can try to improve it. Okay, so the first set of fours we're going to look at is the Opus 2 Legendary Vincent. We're running 3 of those. 2 of the Opus 4 Heroic Vincent, and 2 of Opus 3 Yuffie. So these are kind of big centerpiece of the deck because ideally what you want to do with this deck is death penalty as much as you can just to kill things. So running these Vincents is pretty key. You got the 3-drop, or the 3 of the 4-drop Vincent, which is basically your bread and butter. That's what you want to play to be able to get your death penalties off. You got 2 of the 5-drop Vincent, which is basically a tutor for your Vincent so that you have more fodder to special, and it's an EX burst, so if it comes off the top you don't feel too bad. And then you got Yuffie, who you can play for free as long as you control Vincent, and gives Vincent Brave and plus 1000 power. So it just kind of makes sense that these forwards are there. So the next set we're going to look at is the 1 of Opus 3 Cloud and the 3 of Opus 1 Legendary Light Cloud. So the Opus 3 Cloud is nice because you're playing a lot of 7 characters, so it's probably going to have Brave when it comes out, as well as it can give that boost to an attacking forward if it has to. But ideally, you don't really want to play this, because it's really, you just want to pitch this to use your Legend Light Cloud's ability, which is Omnislash, which is the namesake of the deck. So Light Cloud is kind of another bread and butter card in this deck as well, where you basically just want to Omnislash as much as you can. However, he can be a bit awkward since Light cards can't pitch for CP, but he can always pitch to his own ability, so he's usually always going to get some value even though you're running 3. As long as you don't see all 3 of these in your hand at once, probably not going to be that bad, and even then that might not be that bad if you're already have an established board. So it's obvious why the clouds are there as well. So next up we got 2 of Dodaluma, 3 of Sabin, and 3 of Wool. So these guys are kind of in the category of just they're really good in their element. Like if you're playing these 2 elements, you're probably going to be playing these cards in some form. So I think the numbers here kind of make sense. I mean, Wool's a guy you want to see all the time. Dodaluma's really awkward to deal with, and so is Sabin. Sabin can just be a workhorse. So again, not much more to say about these guys. They're just really good, and if you're playing Earth or Fire, you should definitely look into these cards for sure. So moving on, we have 2 of Birdman or Vermilion Birdless Zou, and 2 of Legendary Delita. So I like to call these guys just the big beaters of the deck. Delita is just really annoying to deal with on defense, and Birdman is just really annoying to deal with on offense, and they kind of both warrant you to have to remove them as soon as you can. So they kind of have their place in the deck as well, just because they're big, beefy dudes that are really hard to deal with. And then last but not least, we have what I like to call his tech card, which is a 1 of Opus 1 guy. He's just kind of there, I think, for the ice matchup. You just want to slam this guy down, and you can't dull him, and he's just swinging with Brave, kind of overtop all their small forwards. So I really think this last slot is kind of a meta call. And with ice being as prevalent as it is right now, guy is never a bad call. So not really much more on that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the summons. We have a 2 of Belias, a 3 of Opus 4 Bahamut, a 2 of Opus 4 Atamos, and a 2 of Ultima, the High Seraph. So with these ones, basically Belias is probably the best fire summon in the game. It just does a lot for 2 CP, and kind of makes sense that it's here as well. We got Bahamut, we got it as a 3 of, so again, this is pretty good removal. 8k is most of the time going to hit what you need it to hit, and probably remove it from the game, which is nice. Then we got a 2 of Atamos. This is mainly just used for the EX burst. You want to see this come off the top, so you don't have to pay for its cost, which is kind of expensive at 6. But if you do have to cast it, it's probably going to kill something as well. And then we have 2 of Ultima, which is a pretty expensive light summon. However, you do get that discount with Light Cloud on the board, and it's going to remove everything that's not light or dark from the game, at the expense of milling yourself. So it is a board clear, can get you back in situations where you were like really behind, or it can just close out the game. So again, this summon package kind of makes sense, but we're going to try to improve on that as well. So the first set of backups we're going to look at is a 2 of Mog Mobius, a 2 of Opus 5 Ninja, a 2 of Opus 1 Red Mage, and a 2 of Opus 2 Sage. So let's go ahead and start with Mog Mobius. So Mog Mobius is a very versatile backup. It lets you search for any forward at the expense of a break and 2 extra Earth. So it kind of makes sense that he's here. I mean, lets you search for your extra Vincents or any forward that you need. Then we got a 2 of Ninja, just a tab break to get someone out of the way. Again, really good late game to just finish off your opponent, as well as Opus 1 Red Mage. Also lets you do basically the same thing, but it's reusable at the expense of Fire and Colorless. And then we have Opus 2 Sage, which is just going to give you that haste for 2 CP, and get to play a backup at the same time, which is also very nice. So the last few cards that we have in his initial deck is 2 of Jesse. Obviously good. It's a Final Fantasy 7 tutor. Again, lets you get your Vincents, your Clouds, etc. When you need them. Then we got a 2 of Zack from Opus 4. It's an EX burst, so lets you recur Clouds for 3 CP, which is nice. Then we also have 2 Minor. This guy's insane. I mean, the recursion you can get with Minor is just crazy, so really good Earth backup. And then we have 3 of Raubon, another EX burst. Your guys are generally going to be big, so you're just going to kill their guys and not do any damage to your guys, which is very nice. And when this comes off the top, it's even better. So that's Sean's deck. So let's go ahead and take a look about how we're going to go about improving it. Let's go ahead and start at the changes we're going to make at forward. So I'm adding 1 of the Opus 1 2 CP Cloud. It's just kind of nice to do some damage on ETB, as well as get that 7k sometimes, and he's extra fodder for your light cloud. So I just felt like I wanted that extra cloud. This could be a second Opus 3 3 CP Cloud as well. I think that would be just fine, but I thought maybe having the cheap blocker might be better. Also adding 2 of a Opus 3 Legendary Vivi. This card is just great, probably one of the best fire cards, and it's a nice piece of removal, which is on a body. A lot of times he's coming in and he's at least making maybe your opponent try to discard cards really quickly because they don't want to lose the thing that you're targeting if they can, or it just kills a guy, which is great. So in order to make room for those, we're going to go ahead and cut 2 of the Legendary Delita and the 1 of guy that he had as his tech card. So that kind of completes out the forward spot. So let's go ahead and look at the summons. So at the summon slot, we kind of made a lot of changes. So I'm looking at +3 of the new Cockatree summon, which I think is really good. Can kind of move stuff out of the way, as well as make it where something can't attack or take damage. Could help you. Added 3 of the Opus 4 Hecaton Chair. I think this is just the best Earth summon in the game right now. And your guys are really big, so you can kind of take advantage of that cheap removal to kill them. You're also running Wolf, so you can pump a guy and then Hecaton Chair pretty much during combat, which is great. I just think it's overall a good summon. And then I also added 1 of the Opus 1 Hecaton Chair, just if you want to remove Anthems or any kind of other trouble backups that they might have that cost 3 or more, as well as it helps a card that I'm going to show later that I added in as well. To make room for these, I went ahead and subtracted the 2 Atomos. Again, it's a great burst, but I felt like we were only running it just for the burst value and to stop early aggression. However, if you are running into like really aggressive decks, this might be good just to come off the top and hit them and set them really far back. But I thought maybe making room for other summons that were cheaper would be better, even though if they don't have EX burst. I also took out the 3 Bahamut. While I do think it's great removal, sometimes 8k isn't enough, and you usually have to add on to it. And we weren't really running a lot of cards that really stacked well with that damage, outside of maybe like Cloud's second special ability. So I went ahead and removed those, and I also wanted to just run like a full Earth package as well with summons to combo with the backup I'll talk about in a second. I also removed the 2 Ultima. Again, I didn't really see the need for having more board wipes, especially when you're not running Shantoto, which you could easily add. I do think Ultima is fine, and when you get that discount it can be great, but milling can really hurt you a lot. But when it does happen, it's probably great. So I went ahead and removed those as well. So moving on with the backups, there's some more additions I made there as well. So I added 1 more of the Red Mage Opus 1. I felt like you're really going to try to define your backup line with this deck, so I'd rather have the reusable over having more ninjas. But again, that's just personal preference. I think Ninja is great. I'm really high on that card. I love that card a lot. I also added in the 2 Gravitron, which combos well with the Earth package that I decided to put in for the summons. Just giving your guys that extra oomph in combat and that extra power just to kind of get over people. I added 1 Shantoto. This is kind of a personal preference. I like to have Shantoto in almost any deck I make that has Earth in it. It's just a great kind of card that even if you don't want to use it all the time, sometimes it'll save you in the game and just be able to reset the situation so that you can play your forwards again. And then I also added in 1 Star Sybil. This allows you to search out your Gravitron, search out your 1-0 Shantoto as well, which can just be super flexible. And then you can also break to play your Birdman, or a Wool if you have to, or anything like that, which is kind of great. So let's go ahead and look at what we subtracted as well. So with the subtractions, we went ahead and took out 1 Mobius Mog. I feel like Mog is a very good one-of, and a lot of times you don't really need more than 1. However, if you do find yourself really wanting to play it every game on turn 1 or whatever, it is a great card. I went ahead and took 1 down from there. Took out the one ninja to make room for the extra red mage. I just, like I said earlier, I felt like red mage is just better in this deck because we're building backups and we have that reusability with it instead of just the tap break. Then I subtracted the one Zac. I felt like Zac really, again, you want him to come off the top most of the time. You don't really want to cast him as much, but he can be critical to getting back that extra cloud to get that extra Omnislash, which can be great. I went ahead and cut 2 Raubons. So I love Raubon a lot, and he is an EX burst, which is awesome. But sometimes when you run a lot of Raubons, if you draw that opening hand and you get like 2 Raubons in hand, that feels terrible if you don't have any other backups. So I wanted more backups that I could play turn 1 or turn 2. And Raubon's just not really one of those most of the time. So again, that's Sean's Omnislash deck, as well as some improvements that I thought I could make to it. I don't think Sean's deck by itself is even close to being bad at all. I think it's playable the way it is fine. I just kind of wanted to go a different direction in how I thought I would maybe play it. But I think the way he has it built is also super viable. I wish that Final Fantasy VII was a little bit better in the meta right now, as well as just the fire element in general. But I do think that this is a really fun deck that you can play, and a great deck that you can take to locals and probably win with it, to be honest. So hopefully this helps people want to build more Final Fantasy VII decks and go out there to your locals and have fun. So again, thanks everyone for watching. I always love doing these Blitz techs, so if you want to submit us a deck, just hit us up on Facebook or leave us a comment on YouTube with the deck list on FF decks or what have you. We'll go ahead and look at it and try to improve that for you as well. So again, Adam from RBA Returners. See you next time. Peace.